90% of entrepreneurs live a life of struggle and hustle. Why? Because we are our own slaves. Isn't it supposed to be the other way around? Here's the thing. Sometimes working for ourselves can lead to becoming slaves to a different master. Therefore, as entrepreneurs, we can't help it but delude ourselves into thinking that it's better to be broke, stressed, burnout, as long as we do it for our own business, as long as we take sacrifice for our own business. And we feel entitled to the idea of being a business owner, entitled to the idea of being an entrepreneur. But we can't help it because that's all we see online. Thanks to the gurus, the belief that we become entrepreneurs to achieve freedom is the biggest fat piece of lie that has ever been sold to your face. It's about leverage, not freedom. And there's different forms of leverage. Capital, that's when you use money to make more money. This is the highest form of leverage of our last generation. This is when the Warren Buffetts were born. They use capital to make more money and compound that money. Code, this is one of our current highest form of leverage in our generation as I am speaking. When you build a piece of code and you put it out there and 100 million users, if not billion of users, can use the platform. You build it once and launch it to millions of people. That's what Mark Zuckerberg did, and this is why our biggest companies and the most successful companies of our generations are tech startups. And this is where the VCs, the asset managers, the billionaires and powerful people are pouring their money into these industries. You don't know how to code, there's content. Media, same shit, same principle. You film it once, upload it once, post it once, millions of people can see it. And guess what? You do that shit every day, it compounds just like capital. It's called a fucking personal brand. Then there's labor, talent, employee, call it however you want. This is the oldest form of leverage. This form of leverage has been around for as long businesses have been around. You're trying to lift a heavy piece of rock, you put the rock on a lever, and you cannot lift it by yourself. You hire 10 people to do it and they do it for you so that you can focus on other shit. That's what hiring people is about. And as you can see, without any of these form of leverage as an entrepreneur, you're actually in the worst situation than if you were employed by someone. There's 32 million companies in the United States, 6 million businesses have employees, 1.3 million make over $1 million a year, and 80% of entrepreneurs in the United States are solopreneurs, which means they are slaves. They have no form of leverage, any form of it. They are working for themselves, yes, but yet doing everything in their company themselves. No leverage being applied. Making no money, having no time to be with their family, no time for other passion in their life, and even worse, they've come to believe that staying small and offering personalized service is their way of impacting the world. I'd rather be gay. Imagine sacrificing your life, putting in your blood, sweat, and tears into building a business to just impact 20 lives per year with your service or product, doing fuck knows what, whether it's accounting, cutting grass, opening gyms, a coffee shop, worst again, a design agency, lead gen agency, cold calling agency, or any corny shit like that. You would be impacting 100 lives in your entire lifetime, which isn't even much, and you wouldn't even become rich doing it. That's the curse I want to eradicate with this model. I am just talking about the companies that are registered in the United States. Just imagine the impact of the creator industry where everyone is being told to start a fucking business. Imagine how many people are going to get started and then get their first 5 clients and then settle to be average with no leverage, no true freedom. The mission, help entrepreneurs market and innovate their ideas with the infrastructure they need to access the leverage required to experience true success. In other terms, how I like to say it, close the gap. The main key to get out of the rat race of business is to leverage yourself. How? With assets. We all know what an asset is and a liability. You alone cannot leverage yourself. We only have 24 hours in a day. We only have 2 arms, 2 legs, and 1 brain, hopefully. And there's just so much that we can do. We need assets to leverage ourselves. You don't have to take my words for it. This is literally why wealthy people make 10,000 times more within the same 24 hours than you and I. Worst part, most of that money they make it when they sleep. And the leverage asset number 1 is content. Like I said earlier, this is our current highest form of leverage in our day and age, in our generation as I am speaking and recording this video. The ability to leverage content and or code to build an audience so we never have to experience the terror that comes with rising costs of acquiring clients. I don't want to have the same result as everybody else. I don't want the same cost per click, cost per leads, cost per booking calls, or CAC as everyone who can spend money on ads, do appointment setting, and close. Anybody can spend money on ads, appointment set, and close. Therefore, I don't want to be that guy. Why? Anybody can do it. I can be replaced anytime. I don't want to have to speak, nurture, sell, or serve people on one-on-one. I want to be average. I want to be able to provide unique value to 1,000 or 1,000,000 people in a leverage way. Like I said earlier, content, media, film it once, upload it once, a whole bunch of people can watch it. You do it every single day, it compounds. Next thing you know, you got a fucking personal brand. requires to build asset content that educate prospect before they buy. This is probably the most important aspect of this entire freaking video. It's about getting them to buy into you before they get to buy from you. That's why educating and nurturing, it's so fucking valuable. Leverage asset number 2, a highly profitable service or offer. Every fucking body is info business, consulting, or coaching business, or whatever corny shit it is. Everybody's doing it. You can be replaced anytime, and it's saturated. You can't really charge a lot of money when there's 1,000 other people selling the same thing for 10 times less money. Even Iman Gadzhi moved to selling information product for only $37,000 a month. I bought his course a year ago. That shit cost me $1,000, $1,000. You telling me he added more value, upgraded his thing, and is now charging it for $37? Because the market is now more sophisticated. We know. We're not stupid anymore. We have access to the information he was selling for thousands of dollars. And we won't tolerate buying content information for $2,000 when we can have access to better information on YouTube for free. Let's not even talk about the growth services industry like appointment setting, media buying, short form content, and all that corny stuff. Growth model is about leverage. In the beginning, you're going to want to invest the most energy and effort into building leverage assets, the 2 leverage assets I just went over, and especially to educate anything that can educate your prospect, because you want to form, mold, and build your prospect into the perfect avatar that fits your offer, that fits your business. You want to take your prospect and, like I was saying, make them buy into you before they buy from you. The best example I can give you right now that is coming on top of my head is if I were to give you a Ferrari for $5,000 and you would have 24 hours to pay me back, I guarantee your ass would sell anything and anyone in your fucking house or in your grandma's house to get that Ferrari within the next 24 hours, no matter the cost, because you know the value. You were sold into the Ferrari before. I don't need to convince you to want a Ferrari. You know the value of it, and that's what you want to create here. The more you educate them about your solution and about the value, and the more value you have, the more you can play with the price. A Ferrari is fucking valuable. Wouldn't I be stupid to charge $5,000 for it? Well, that's what you want to do. That's what you want to create. Create an offer that is so good will feel stupid saying no. And you charging $5,000 and even $10,000 seems like a lot, but what they're gonna get out of it is much more valuable than this. Therefore, they would sell anything to buy your offer, even if they don't got the money. And that's why you want to over deliver, and that's the main keyword here. You want to over deliver, educate and over deliver. And once you get there, since you over delivered already and you gave a lot of value, they're gonna benefit from it, and now you get to take a piece of the pie, and the more they win, the more you win. But instead of doing like every SMMA fucking gurus and charge them on a retainer model, what you do is you upsell the downsell and you suggest them a partnership. At that stage, they already trust you. Not only they were already educated, they were bought into you before they bought from you. So when they buy, you barely had to sell them. And now, since you over deliver, they trust you even more, because now they benefited from it. They got 10 times more than what they paid for, so they trust you much more. And this is where you get to make the real buck, because this is where your money is going to start compounding, because you get a piece of the pie. You get a percentage of how much they're making. 5x or 10x their business, you get 10 and you get 20% of it, 25% of it, 15% of it, whatever it is. It's going to grow, and the more clients you have, the more it's going to compound, and that's when the compounding effect hits, and you could work your way up into equity from there. This model respects the number 1 rule of creating wealth or anything great. All the returns in life, whether in wealth, relationship, knowledge, come from compound interest. That's a quote coming from our big dog Naval Ravikant. And that's not just in business, guys. That's a fucking life advice. If you pick up a business model where you don't get luckier as time goes on, then you'll never really create true wealth and freedom and anything worth creating. Content is an asset that compounds over time. The growth model also compounds because you deliver undeniable value, which creates more goodwill in the relationship you have with the client. The more goodwill, the bigger your piece of the pie is going to be, because the goodwill leads to them wanting to buy or do more business with you. All other business models don't really compound because they're thinking of themselves as one. Now, man, I'm just an agency owner. I'm just a consultant. I'm just an info product. Shut your whole ass up. Agencies, what they're doing now, they're hiring the cheapest contractor so that they can have good margin. They play it cheap, which leads to the client churning, since they're not getting the best out of the relationship. There's no goodwill being created in the relationship, and therefore a consultant, coach, and info people generate no result for the client, and if they do, they generate average results for their clients, and they get replaced easily. And so they live in a rat race of always needing to acquire new clients after new clients after new clients. You're just losing all the money you made. You are not compounding yourself. You have no asset. It's worse than living paycheck to paycheck. You have much more overhead, much more stress. None of these models are scalable, and they don't even compound compound. They're not good for the long term. And aren't you sick of this shit? Because guess what? I'm not selling anything anyways. I have a community for free where I give you everything, the nitty gritty and all the little details from A to Z in my community for free. The link is on the bio of my YouTube channel.